Welcome to October. Uh, Slowly moving on into the school year here. Uh, Welcome back to Belovsky Science. Today we're going to finish up the textbook end of chapter 16, the cardiovascular system, as you can see here. Had a few people ask some questions about how does blood work. And so, for those of you that are blended, they say, Coach, I've heard of blood types. Exactly what is all that? Well, I'm going to draw it in here. And of course, I'm a horrible drawer with this stuff, but I'm just going to kind of show you real quick what happens. There are 8 different types of blood. You have what is called A blood, you have what is called B blood, you have what is called A B blood, and you have what is called O blood. Okay? Well, let's pretend that what I'm drawing right here is a red blood cell. I'm drawing red blood cells here, and I'm doing it really poorly. Okay? Now, what they do is they go in and they look on the blood for markers. Okay. And for example, if you have A blood, now this isn't an exact drawing by any means. I'm just trying to give you an idea. And when they look on blood, if they see a certain marker like that right there, well, that tells them, okay, this is A blood. Or if they look on this blood and they see this, they're like, okay, that marker means that this is a B blood. AB blood has both markers on it. Okay. And O blood has no markers on it. Now, there's another type of blood, or there's another type of marker that is out there, and it is a protein, and not all blood has this special protein. So if I'm going to draw a plus sign right there, if this blood cell has this special protein, then this blood is called A positive. If this blood also has the protein, well, then this blood is called B positive. If this blood also has the protein, this is a B positive blood. And let's say if this blood also has the marker, then this is O positive. Now, there are bloods that are missing that special protein. And if they're missing that protein, such as A negative, B negative, A B negative, and O negative blood. Okay, so what is that? Okay, well, they're missing that special protein. Huh? Okay, so let's do it again. A negative blood. All right, here's the red blood cell, and there's the marker, just like this right here, except a different color. All right, but I'm not going to draw that plus sign, so that means it's negative. A negative. All right, let's draw B here. All right, B has the B marker, but no plus sign, so it is B negative. Here's another red blood cell. All right, it's got the A marker and it's got the B marker, but no positive protein, so AB negative. And the O negative blood cell has no markers whatsoever. It's missing this one marker right over here. So it's O negative. Now, something interesting about O negative blood is these people can give blood to anybody. Since their blood does not have any markers on it, it fits in with the other blood types because it's missing these Key components right here. Now, if somebody that had AB blood tried to give blood to somebody that was O negative, these markers would cause this person's blood to start clumping up, which can be fatal. So something interesting is that O negative blood can give blood to everybody. Now, there's another group that is shown here. O negative gives blood to everybody. There's one of these that can receive blood from everybody. Look at them and see if you can figure out who up here can get blood from anybody. Think about it. It is AB positive. They've got all the markers. So since they've got all the markers, everybody can give blood to them. A positive, yes. Look, it's got the A marker and the positive marker. Somebody that is B positive, yep. There's the B and there's the positive. Somebody that is B negative could give them blood because there's the B marker. Sure, they've got the B marker. Well, what about that this doesn't have the A marker? Doesn't matter. It still fits in. So that's just something interesting about the blood types. You can read more and see more about the blood types basically right here in this information. And if you know what blood type you are, you can look at this pie chart right here, and it tells you where you fall into line. Now why did that stay there? That's interesting that circle is not moving. Okay, well, we'll just get rid of all of it. Read this right here, and it tells you about blood types and their markers, and this tells you about, if you know your blood type, what percentage you fall into. I am A positive, so mine is right here. I fit into the 34%. The largest one is O positive. Most people, if you'll see right there, they have no markers in their blood. Now, the rarest of them all is right here at 1% AB negative. Only 1% of the population has that type of blood. So it's kind of interesting if you like reading about that kind of stuff. All right. Yesterday, I'm trying to remember if we talked about blood transfusions in here, and we did. Blood transfusions are right up here is where it talks about blood transfusions. Let's see. Blood transfusions, blood types. I thought that this was where blood transfusion, right here. A blood transfusion is a transfer of blood from one person to another. So if I didn't do it yesterday, there you go. You know what it is now. So from there, we're going to pick up next with type and cross. So what is type and cross? Well, type and cross is quite often used in medical shows, Grey's Anatomy, ER, and usually there's something going on in the emergency room, and somebody comes in and they're not conscious and they're losing blood, and the doctor says, type and cross this patient. So what does that mean? Okay, right here is the term. What does it mean? Type and cross is when the doctor wants to find out what blood type the patient has and cross match it with donated blood. So in other words, they'll tell the nurse, find out what type of blood this patient has, and then call and check the blood bank and see if we've got some of that blood that they can send over to us. And lots of hospitals have a blood bank. I would say most hospitals have a blood bank. They have to keep blood on hand. But right now we are in the middle of a pandemic, and our blood places that take up blood are really hurting for blood right now. because people are not donating. And so if you know somebody that donates blood, you should mention to them to give blood, because blood is we're getting dangerously low on blood right now. All right. Now, after that, we're going to talk real quickly about the lymphatic system. And it is another system in your body. And what the lymphatic system basically does is it's a system that tries to keep you healthy, and it works very closely with the circulatory system. So the definition for lymphatic system is right here. The lymphatic system is a network of vein-like vessels that returns the fluid to the bloodstream. Hit pause and type that in. All right, so the lymphatic system is a network of vein-like vessels that returns fluid to the bloodstream. And what this fluid does is it tries to capture bad stuff. And when I say bad stuff, I'm talking about bacteria, viruses, disease-causing microorganisms, things like that. And if the lymphatic system can catch this stuff, it catches it in a liquid that is called lymph. Now, if you look at this boy right here, it shows you where the lymphatic system runs throughout your body. And all of these are little vein-like structures that are trying to catch this stuff. So inside these structures is something that is called lymph. So what is lymph? All right. Lymph is defined right here. Lymph consists of water and dissolved materials such as glucose. So lymph flows through these passageways that you see here, and they, if they capture stuff, then they'll trap it and they'll carry it in these vein-like passageways to areas that are called lymph nodes. And lymph nodes on your sheet is number 3. So let's go ahead and do lymph nodes. Lymph nodes, and what they do is they filter lymph by trapping bacteria and other disease-causing microorganisms in the fluid. Lymph nodes filter lymph, trapping bacteria and other disease-causing microorganisms in the fluid. Now, have you ever gone to the doctor, and when you're sitting in the room waiting for the doctor to come in, have you ever noticed that when the doctor finally comes in, that he comes in and he feels underneath your neck right here? All right. Somebody earlier today said he's checking your pulse. No, if you're sitting up, he knows you're alive. What he's checking is he's feeling your lymph glands to see if he can feel, or your lymph nodes to see if they're swollen. Some of the folks you know may call them glands. And what he's checking for is to see if there's swelling, like what you see in these pictures right here. And I'm kind of in the way right here. A few years ago, I had the flu. And when I had the flu, my lymph nodes got big because of the virus that was floating around in my body. And so it took me a few extra days to get over it because the virus was stuck in my lymphatic system. All right. And that's the end of lymph. All right. So let's talk about cardiovascular health. And I'm willing to bet you could tell me 2 ways that you can help keep your cardiovascular system healthy. If you're thinking exercise and healthy diet, you are correct. Basically, that's the answer for everything when it comes to health. Exercise and a good diet. Exercise and a good diet. Well, that's correct when it comes to your cardiovascular health. These people right here, they're playing row, row, row your boat. That's one of the most, rowing boats is one of the most healthiest exercises you could do. That and snow skiing. Skiing and snow skiing, like up mountains and all that, that is considered extremely healthy because you're using your arms and legs. And check out these folks right here. They're using their arms and they use their legs as well. So it's extremely healthy. One of the diseases that you can catch from not one of the diseases that you can have for your cardiovascular system, not necessarily that you catch, you do it to yourself, is atherosclerosis. So number 31 on your sheet is atherosclerosis. And for atherosclerosis, it is a condition in which an artery wall thickens as a result of the waxy buildup of fatty materials. A condition in which an artery wall thickens as the result of a buildup of fatty materials. Hit pause, and I'll come back in just a second. All right, so what is atherosclerosis? This picture right here shows you an artery. And in the middle of the artery, it's open. Blood can flow cleanly through it. However, look at this artery. This artery right here has got some gunk in it. And if you look right here, you'll see this gunk all loaded up inside of there. That gunk that you see there is too much bacon, too much sausage, too many hamburgers, pizzas, too much ice cream, and that fat builds up in your arteries, and that's what this is. This is animal fat right here that's building up in your arteries, and it causes a condition called atherosclerosis. And what happens is if this opening right here where blood flows through completely closes, you have a heart attack. So what is a heart attack? A heart attack occurs when blood flow to part of the heart muscle is blocked. All right. So, what is a heart attack? So, when your heart is actually fed blood through coronary arteries, and I'm going to pause it right. I'm going to pause it right here, and I'm going to go get one of my heart models and show you folks. Hang on. Okay, so I went and got one of my models right here. This right here is one of my models that I use in class, and this right here actually shows you the openings in the heart where the chambers are. And on the back side, if you look right here, that red thing that you see, let me get an instrument that I can point to. This right here, that is an artery that runs down through there. That is what right through here, that red line, it looks like a worm. That is what supplies blood to the heart. The heart is a muscle. It's a piece of tissue. So therefore, it has to have oxygen and nutrients. And so if this thing right here gets blocked because you ate too much barbecue during your lifetime, or too many potato chips and ice cream, if it gets blocked like what you see in this picture right here, then you have a heart attack. And a heart attack is when the part of your heart doesn't get enough oxygen and it can't beat properly. And that is what a heart attack is. Somebody asked earlier, is that cardiac arrest? Cardiac arrest is when the heart stops. It's when the heart stops beating. Your heart could possibly still beat if it is having a heart attack. That there still can be movement, or it could stop altogether. And a A heart attack can bring on cardiac arrest. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. All right. And let's go to this word right here. Hypertension. Another disease that you can get is hypertension. Disorder in which a person's blood pressure is consistently higher than normal. A disorder in which a person's blood pressure is consistently higher than normal. And here it says 140/90. Well, now they're saying 130/80, I believe. They've lowered the numbers a little bit. And we've kind of talked about it in class. And if you watched one of the videos earlier, you notice that I talked about people that are extremely stressed, worrisome, angry all the time. Those are people that tend to have higher blood pressures. The people that are easygoing, don't let things bother them, then they usually have lower blood pressures. And the last thing we talked about in class today were some of these pictures. This guy right here, he is pushing around an artificial pacemaker. Now, today, we have artificial pacemakers that fit just underneath the skin on the chest. How cool is that? We have gone from an object that you have to push around on a cart to an object that fits into your hand. We kind of laughed earlier. Somebody was like, how would that guy take a bath? Well, I bet he doesn't, because all of that is electrical equipment, and he probably doesn't bathe or shower. He's probably a sponge bath kind of guy now, because look at all the wiring underneath here. I wouldn't want to be around water with that. So, but yeah, this was in 1958. This is 60-year-old technology right here. 60, 65-year-old technology. And today we've got it down to where, we've got it to where it will fit into your hand. And these wires right here, if you look right here, the wires go from the pacemaker into your veins that run back into your heart, and they run down into the heart, and that's the picture of the heart. Where's the one that I used earlier? Oh, here it is. Right here. The wires lead down into the heart, and they monitor how your heart is working. And if your heart needs a shock to make it speed up the beat, well, then it will do that. So it's really cool how the pacemaker works. All right. This right here is a valve. Valves can wear out now in the heart for some people. And so they can go in and they can put in an artificial valve that's made out of metal. I once went to church with a guy that got one of these. And I asked him, I said, does it bother you? And he said, the only time it bothers me is when I go to sleep at night. He said he could hear it clicking in his chest. He said when it closed, you could hear the metal snapping shut inside of it. And he said eventually you get used to it and you go to sleep anyway. So he said it was no big deal. The other one I wanted to tell you was about this guy. His name is Christian Barnard, and he is the first doctor to do a heart transplant. And the first heart transplant patient lived for about 20 days. And after that time, he did pass away. It's not very long, but it's like I told the people in class, to his family, I bet you it was a very important 20 days to them. So, yeah, I'm sure it was a big deal. And it's like I told kids today, and I'm going to ask you, do we still do heart transplants today? And the answer to that is yes. Heart transplants are done today, commonly. And they last in people now for much longer. For some people, a lifetime. And so even though you think his first attempt didn't last very long and that therefore it was a failure, there had to be a first somewhere. And he was the first to say, okay, let's try this. And because he was brave enough to try it, we've learned from it, and we've learned from other heart surgeries. And now today, heart transplants are common because of great men and women like him. So I hope you have a great day today. This is the end of the lesson for today. I hope you have a great evening. Email me if you have any questions. God bless everybody.